96 and like a mid-range jump, I ain't trying to miss this. And green candles on my Christmas wish list, a lot of them up quick, then we'll sit to witness the pump like Reebok, shout to Dennis. Catching rebounds, we found love for winners. No dip, we ripping like Robin Pippen. Lil Bob in 88, Nate song we hitting. Yeah, we long and sitting, pretty as can be. Paper hands, old soul, man, as for me, that's blasphemy, a catastrophe. I accumulator made it back massively. We stack sats and fat bags like massive backpacks. Relaxing, that's that, it has to be. A couple racks, flip that, in fact, smashing, grab, attack, hurt the bulls, he's back. As for me, I never left. We up and I'm feeling like a new me. Stacking new sets, some new E.
GM and welcome back to the channel. In this one, taking a look at some of the TradFi movements in this market right about now. We're starting to see the funds flow in on a big scale and some major partnerships as well being announced, which are now ticking up price. During the bear market, a lot of news that would be noteworthy in a bull market and would actually cause price to increase. It was never doing anything, but now we're starting to see these big news pieces actually start to really pump prices here. We're talking some alt L1s doubling in valuations over the last few weeks, and you can feel the shift in the market right now as more money is pouring in. It is now a positive sum game. So more on that in today's video, and of course, if you enjoy the content today, make sure you do subscribe to the channel. So BTC here over the last year looks incredible. That chart is anything but bearish, just keeps on taking these stair steps higher and higher and higher as we move on in towards the 40k territory. This week, of course, we did have a bit of a dip here, which was brought back up, and a huge amount of open interest blown off the books as well. So Byzantine General is well worth a follow for open interest on BTC primarily, always on top of things there. He says Bitcoin doesn't seem to give a fuck about the disappointing ETF news. That in relation to the potential for an ETF to have been announced this week, which obviously doesn't seem to be happening. And so he says there's obviously an eager bid lurking, and there will be shallow dips, not big dips. You can see from the open interest blowout down here on the 14th of November as price came down, longs got absolutely rinsed here, the biggest liquidation event of 2023 I believe it was, and a very nice and welcome reset in the markets here. BTC dominance update here, 52% currently, looks a little bit top heavy, and some of the analysts who are well hot on this suggesting we do take a tumble down here, so maybe a move to this kind of region here. We spent some time back in August around 49%. So that would of course open things up for altcoins to move yet again, with Bitcoin playing ball currently at around 36.6k. So here we have the situation. What is going on for crypto assets, for Bitcoin, for ETH, etc. Pentoshi sums this up very nicely for the longer term time horizon enjoyers out there, especially as what we see these days is everyone is focused on the 1 minute chart. Bitcoin and ETH are about to be part of people's 401ks. As we discussed earlier in the year, an endless TWAP, that is a time weighted average price, just a constant bid into this asset class as part of people's retirement plans. This could be the true super cycle. The stock market yesterday on a 2% move was up more than the entire crypto market combined. You're going to be a huge bear hoping for a discount, but the biggest risk is missing what could be from those floodgates opening, although this is not guaranteed. So what he's saying here is that we have an opportunity to buy near the lows still. Of course, we have seen quite a few coins pump quite hard from the lows, but still we are relatively early, and the game that is being shaped up here is that TradFi is coming in. They're going to offer crypto exposure to the boomers and for people to invest via their 401ks, and a constant bid into the market will ensue. So what we can see is the positive sum game being played out here. It's not huge at this moment in time, but it's improving. So you imagine this as a football field. You've been playing with 10 men the last few games, but now you have a full squad of 11 and the numbers are ticking up, making everything a lot more easy. And as you can see from this, over the last few months here, the market cap of all stablecoins in crypto, somewhere around 123 bill, and the TVL level, so that is the amount of leverage, 63 billion. We fast forward to today and we are up to $126 billion and up to 82 or 83 billion dollars in TVL. So people are levering up and gaining more exposure to the market. So that would be like deploying your ETH into say Aave and taking out a stablecoin loan against it. That is the TVL metric there. And what we're seeing on specific chains in particular, if we just pull up Solana here, if you do flick through this, you can see the positive sum game per each chain. So you go to Sol, you can see that is up 0.5% on its total stablecoin value in the last week. Polygon here up 0.75% in total stablecoin value this week. Avalanche is currently down this week. Arbitrum up a massive 2.67%. This just gives you an idea of potentially where the hot new altcoins are going to be popping off from. And it does look like we've got some nice movements to potentially come here in Arbitrum, as that is a big tick up in stablecoins. And of course, those stablecoins will want to find a home in some form of capacity. Then we have a new week of data here from Coinshares with their crypto asset flows. And again, you can see 3 massive skyscrapers in a row now. This is institutional demand entering the markets, somewhere near $300 million worth of inflows over the last 3 weeks. Hence, this is a positive sum environment and bid is re-entering into crypto markets. You can see 240 mil has moved into Bitcoin this week, almost 50 mil into ETH, and 12.4 million into Solana there. Now, all these numbers figure into this as well from Emperor Osmo. Crypto lending has reached a staggering 18.3 billion in deposited assets, making it the highest point since June of 2022. Hence, leverage is creeping back in. These money markets are essentially like Eurodollars. You park your collateral and you can take out stable coins on the back end. So the likes of Aave here, Spark, Radiant, Frax Finance being quoted. And generally what you can see from the chart here is that crypto lending has put in a nice long elongated bottom here, and it is now pushing on up here, which if you just look at the trajectory of that, it is shaping up like a nice altcoin chart. And I imagine this goes increasingly higher. Then on some Solana-based news here, their DEX volumes have reached an all-time high since the launch of the network. So DEX volumes on Sol higher than that of even 2021 in the bull markets. Now this big candle on the end could well be people trying to hunt for the Jupiter airdrop that we know is coming. More on that in just a second. But even Jeremy Allaire of Circle is bullish on Jupiter on Sol, which is either a top signal or high praise. He says, I'm super impressed with Jupiter Exchange on Sol. Truly excellent user experience and features an example of maturation in a range of infrastructure, wallets, USDC on Solana liquidity and availability and products execution. So high praise from the big man there. So this was released, some new information around the JUP token airdrop. I know a lot of people are interested in this. The airdrop will only count for actions prior to November the 2nd. So that is the deadline cutoff for users of Jupiter. Hence, if you were using it in the last week or so, you're not getting the airdrop if that was your first time. 10 billion JUP tokens, almost 1 million wallets eligible for the airdrop, and 40% allocated to the community over a 4-round period. More on this down here. So there will be an even distribution. 2% will be just given to absolutely everyone. So 200 mil tokens split between those 1 million wallets. And then we will get 7% of this in a tier scored based distribution. And that will be based purely on your volume done through Jupiter. And the final 1% of the total 10% of tokens going to this airdrop is to pretty much the community contributors across socials and their developers. So the top tier here will be for people who have traded potentially over 100K. So I believe this is stating that if you've traded over 100K, you're in the top 2,000 users. And the next tier will be for the top 10,000 users who have traded around 20K's worth of tokens, 3K's worth, and 1K, making up the 4 tiers here. 0x JPEG on Twitter posted his estimations here. Uniswap has a 5 bill FDV. If we work out Jupiter to maybe have a $1 billion FDV from the get-go, he's saying if you're in tier 1 and you've done over 100K's worth of transactions, you're likely to get somewhere in the region of $10,000 as a airdrop. If you're in tier 2, you've done 20K's worth of trade, $2,000, tier 3, $320, and tier 4, $120. Overall, as he says, nice stimmy for the manlets. So who knows if those figures are going to be accurate or not. They're just projections, but that would be a very timely bonus here. A couple of K at least for those who have done a decent bit of trade. I mean, trading 20 grand over the course of a year. If you've been in and out of some larger bags once or twice, you may well have actually got those numbers up. When this does come, however, I will not be selling the Jupiter airdrop. I think this is definitely one to hodl. We've seen this recently with the likes of Celestia airdrop and some others, people who have sold their airdrop have been wrecked within like a week as these projects have been ticking on up. Definitely bull market things. So more on TradFi here and their takeover into crypto. So we have Onyx, which is a platform by JP Morgan Chase. They've partnered here with Avalanche. This was a big piece of news this week. And since this has come out just a couple of days ago, and I think obviously insiders were well aware of what was happening here, we've really seen Avalanche go through the roof here. So primarily over the last 4 or 5 days, AVAX going from like 12, 13 bucks all the way up to 23 at the peak there. So this has been trucking away rather quickly, and this is definitely something you don't see in a bear market. This is the start of a major bull market here, and the big money players are making the ground move. Essentially, TLDR on this one, they're going to be tokenizing real world assets, bringing them on chain, doing things like portfolio management using an Avalanche subnet. As he says here, Ty Lobar, who is part of the Onyx team, we showed that using smart contracts, tokenized assets, and programmatically linked models, rebalancing portfolios can happen automatically and very quickly. So of course, those are the benefits of using crypto tech and having everything on chain. So very interesting to see. Big pump from AVAX, officially now the JP Morgan coin. Then last bit of news here was this one, just another great bit of business development. We talked about Polygon like 2 days ago, and this is another one, joining them via the rolup-as-a-service, as they're calling it, kind of L2 that they can provide. So teams come to them, they say, we need a rollup. These guys have got the solutions there. Plug and play with a Polygon SDK, and you get your rollup spun up for you. We've had the likes of A-Star, OKX here, the latest one, notable partnerships here, utilizing Polygon. And I think that this one, although it is literally up against a resistance, like the low 90 cents was a resistance for Polygon here, bit of a pullback here, but I do think this one is going to absolutely rip due to the restaking elements that can occur. You stake your Polygon, plus you will then be able to restake it to these ZK environments being spun up by others, and they are highly likely going to be incentivizing you to restake to them. Hence, you will get multiple reward types, not only Polygon's Pol token, the newly rebranded one, but also potentially incentives from these other networks, namely A-Star, etc. So the crypto market's heating up here, Bitcoin around 36.5, dropping a bit as we stream here, but never fear, you can see what is happening in the background. The flows are positive, the big boys are coming, they're making themselves known. I wouldn't really overthink too much at this point, just click green, sit back, hodl, and enjoy the ride. Of course, not financial advice, gotta protect myself with that disclaimer there. Make sure you do subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.